My name is Pedro Bizzotto, and I'm here at Two Plane Guys.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Two Plane Guys. I'm Rick Buffkin.
And I'm Adam Beach.
Today we are joined by Mr. Pedro Bizzotto, if I pronounced that right. I hope I did.
Bizzotto.
Bizzotto. I'm sorry.
Bizzotto.
Yeah. So welcome. Great to have you.
Thank you so much,
Pedro
guys,
has
for
a different
inviting me.
accent than you do.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not from North Carolina.
No.
He sounds better though. I don't know how I'd be with a Brazilian accent.
You could maybe teach him a few words.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I messed up with my English. So thank you, thank
It's
you
all
for your
right. We've got
patience.
subtitles running underneath you right now. so
Okay,
people
thank you
can
so much.
understand.
That would
No,
help everyone.
We're not going to do that. No.
Just to break the ice, depending on where you're at in the U.S.,
But does
North
that with
Carolina.
Rick?
What's that?
The subtitles for Rick.
Sometimes we have to do it for Rick, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And depending on where you're at in the U.S., sometimes Southern slang is bad English. So don't worry about that.
No,
Yeah.
I've been there.
I'm the only one that speaks proper English here, apparently.
Sure. Yeah.
Emily
Yeah,
does
well,
better.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, right?
But no, I flew up this morning. Been down at Sun and Fun for a week. How was that?
Sun and Fun is amazing. For
Yeah.
me, it's the best air show in the U.S. I just love. It's right in my backyard. My kids go there with me. We have so much fun, and it's becoming kind of a Brazilian air show because I only hear Portuguese when I'm walking down the alleys. I swear. I think it's because it's Florida. It's so close to Brazil.
Yeah.
So many Brazilians are coming, so we can be that connection point between U.S. and Brazil, where we do business and networking and connection with everyone we know down there.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I've never been to Sun and Fun before, but I guess it's growing. It's getting bigger every year, it sounds like. And you were just showing us some videos and pictures of like the air show, and it's pretty amazing to see.
It's my third
Everything
time
that they
there.
have there.
But first time I've been there was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It was really nice. My first time in the U.S., actually second time in the U.S. But now it's getting, I think we're getting to know everyone, so we always find so many friends there. It's getting good. I really like Sun and Fun.
I got to do it 2 years ago. Did it for work.
You've been down there?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to a teaser to all of our fans. Two Plane Guys may be on the road, possibly at Oshkosh, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going to Oshkosh. I've heard that's a pretty good one. Have you been to Oshkosh before?
I've been a couple years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah,
It's
Oshkosh
huge.
is amazing. It's massive, right? And I see why it's like a full week, because it really takes you 3 or 4 days of getting after it to see everything.
Yeah, but I had a good
But-
time in Fun and Sun too.
So comparatively, you've been to both, right? And you said Sun and Fun's right in your backyard, so everybody should know. Pedro, you're up from Orlando.
I live in Orlando, west of Orlando, Winter Garden area, but yes.
Okay.
Have
And
you
then-
met the mouse?
Oh, every week. I have 2 beautiful daughters.
I understand. Yep.
They go to Disney every week. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So living in Florida, I have some family that lives in the area there. They go to Disney a lot. Do you guys really go to Disney often?
Almost every week.
Seriously?
Yeah, we got an annual pass, so it's super nice. We can go anytime. And my daughters are 5 and 6, so
Oh, man.
they still believe
So
in
they're
the
right
magic.
at that perfect age. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
So you're the best dad ever. You just let your kids go to Disney World every week. You got to be scoring major
I
points.
love going with them. I mean, that place is amazing.
Yeah.
But I like the customer service Disney provides. I think that's a
Oh,
good
that's
benchmarking.
Yeah.
And
I will say they do a good job of that.
they do a great job.
Do you do what's the other place over there? Not the Islands Adventure on Disney's property. They got Epcot, Disney, Animal Kingdom, and then
Hollywood Studios?
yeah. Have you?
Yeah, that's
Question.
my favorite.
Have you been in the backside of that before? Like they used to do a tour. I took my kids there way back in the day.
No, I've always wanted to do that.
Have you ever seen
The
Walt
one you-
Disney's G1 that sits back there?
No.
Used to. There was a G1, Gulfstream G1,
In-
that was Walt.
At Disney?
Mm-hmm.
I've flown on the G1.
I've worked on them. I actually worked on. I did the props on that G1 at
Is the huge
Hollywood.
props.
You did
Hamilton prop?
the
Hamilton
props on
Dowdy's.
the Gulf
Dowdy
Stream.
Rick
Howdy's. Yeah, the same as the 130, C-130s.
Yep. When I took my kids there, we got a picture, and yep, we did them. I did them
Nice.
way back in the day.
This episode of Two Plain Guys brought to you by Walt Disney World.
Yes.
So
Disney, if you're
Disney,
watching,
please. If you're
we could use
watching-
Cut that out.
some passes maybe.
Yeah, right. No, it's good. I know you're a big family guy. That's where I think where we immediately connected when we first met. And you've got two daughters, like you said, at home. What are their names again?
Marcella and Laura,
And your wife back in Orlando?
Luann.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch your social media stuff, and I know, I mean, obviously you're an aviation guy, you're a business guy, you own a 135, you've managed, dozens of airplanes, right? Got your start in Brazil. I'm really interested to hear that part of the story and how you came from like the very beginnings. Where like, what's your first recollection or your first like good memory of like falling in love with airplanes or aviation? Where did that start for you?
And it's funny because my father was a doctor. My mom, when they met, she was a nurse. And I never had anyone in the family working on aviation. But when I was a kid, I have videos, like huge videotapes. Rick knows those. Of me. I was 3 years old, and I have this recording, and then on my baptism, and the father was asking, "What are you gonna do when you grow?" And I have videos 3-year old saying that I'm gonna be a pilot.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I've always loved aviation, and when I was a kid, my grandparents lived in São Paulo, and we lived in Iguaçu Falls. So I used to travel by myself as a kid, like 2-3 years old. I don't know how do you call that in English, but unaccompanied, like minors flying
Like a
by themselves.
companion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, almost 35 years ago, aviation was much better. But every time I was flying as a kid, the flight attendants, like, they babysitted me, and I was sitting in the cockpit, even as a kid, alone with the pilots or the flight attendants babysitting me. That might have
Sparked it, help
Yeah,
throw some
sparked
gas
a
on that
li-
fire.
So they took you right up in the cockpit and let you see it as a kid, flying from.
I was flying on the
Airlines.
third seat on the
Oh, the
Oh,
jump
the
seat.
on the
You're on
jump
the jump
seat.
seat. Yeah.
by myself since I was 4 or 5 years. It was
What-
really nice.
This was a commercial
Yeah.
airliner. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I used to do. I wouldn't not the jump seat, but I told you earlier I was born in Florida, so I used to go out and see my grandparents, and I had some family down there. And same thing. I was young back then. You had to be taken to the gate, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
they put a decal on you, and they walk you down to the airplane, put you in the seat, and you can't get out till they take you. But always you got special treatment. You got
Right.
to see the cockpit and all that.
Oh
But,
yeah, they take really good care of the
Yeah.
kids. They still, I think they still do things like that, right?
I
If
think
you're a
so.
minor,
Yeah.
you're traveling unaccompanied, they put you with somebody, right?
Yeah.
I've never done that with my kids before, but so when you were like 3,
Yeah.
how old were you? And that your parents were putting you on a plane, you'd go see your grandparents in Sao Paulo.
3 to 10 years old.
So you started flying a lot by yourself
Yeah.
as a young child.
And I've always loved like airports, aviation, pilots,
Me too.
this life. I think that helped like creating that spark on
Yeah.
aviation. But I really love aircraft since I was a young kid.
Are you the only pilot in your family?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Only
it's not
pilot.
like your dad wasn't a
Nope.
pilot. He said he was a doctor. Your grandparents, nothing like that.
Nothing.
You have siblings, brother, sister.
Yeah, my brother is a psychologist. My sister is a vet. So nothing related to
Wow.
aviation. But my father always, both my parents always supported me a lot on my dreams. They helped me a lot.
That's fantastic.
I see on your bio it said you took pilot lessons at 14.
So
Yeah.
my father always supported me. So when I was 14, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna do sports, study, or learn a different language? And I said, Dad, I want to do my private pilot ground school lessons because you couldn't fly by them legally on training. So I started doing my private pilot ground school. It was really nice. I learned a lot. I did a lot of flights on Cessna 172s with friends. So I started flying like since very young, but I couldn't log any hours. But
Really, I didn't realize that. What what age did you take your private then? Your private pilot's like test and get your license?
In
At what
Brazil
age?
is 18.
Really?
You can start flying with 17, and then I took my license when I turned 18.
Okay.
I did the check right when I turned 18.
So you've been flying truly your whole life,
Yep,
either as a passenger or in the cockpit yourself.
yep. I'm still learning.
And you're still flying. And you flew up here today.
Yep.
You did.
So-
What all you typed in?
On the Hawk, as a PIC Hawker 400 and the Citation 550 series.
Okay.
On the SIC Hawker 4000s, 800s, Falcon 50. I think that's it.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm talking about is 135.
Yeah.
So you got your private pilots at 18.
I then building hours. I took my commercial pilot as 20.
Okay.
Then I moved to a city called Rattlesnake.
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 The translation is Rattlesnake.
Oh, okay.
That's where I lived my whole life.
Well, how do you
before
say it?
moving
How do
here.
you say it in Portuguese?
Cascavel.
Okay.
Why is it called rattlesnake?
We'll call it
I want.
rattlesnake.
We got to pause for a minute. Why is it called rattlesnake? I got to know this now.
Well, this was this town long time ago. It was like a connection, and you have a lot of rattlesnakes in that area.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, really, you still do. On the southern part of Brazil, you have a lot of rattlesnakes. So maybe
Okay.
comes from the rattlesnakes, or we used to call mother-in-laws rattlesnakes in Brazil. So I don't know if there's
Okay.
a
No,
connection or
that's,
not.
yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
So you were building time. Did you like start flying charter down in Brazil, or were you working for an airline, or were you just
No, and so I finished my commercial. Then I got hired by a flight school in Rattlesnake, and then I started building time as a flight instructor. 1 year later, I went to fly corporate King Air co-pilot, just doing. Then I spent 1 year as a co-pilot on a King Air F90, and then I left aviation for a couple of years.
oh yeah?
So my mom had import and export business. She had a big distribution of furniture from China, India, and France to Brazil. And so she invited me to work with her. So I started traveling all over the world with her, China, doing import and export. But I love aviation. So after 2 years, I said, "Mom, I love you so much, but this is not what my passion." So I left my family's company and got back as a flight instructor, and flying and contract flights, and just got it back. I tried joining airlines. The Brazilian and U.S. market is nothing comparable in size. So when I decided, so I want to join the airlines, then Brazil was going through a crisis. They were firing, not hiring pilots. So I couldn't join airlines. And I've always had a plan of leaving Brazil. So I start thinking about, okay, U.S. has always been hard to move because of all the visa requirements, so I was thinking about moving to Australia. So I even got my Australian pilot license number, and I was planning going to Australia. Then everything changed. That's when we decided to start SyncJet in Brazil. And so I had a good friend. He was my student. He was my good friend, Junior. And I've always loved business and aviation. And it's really hard to mix those two words because aviation is capital intensive. I didn't have the money to start an aviation company. So then Junior invited me to start a company, aviation company, where we had no idea what to do. All we knew is that we need.
How old were you doing this?
It was 13 years ago. I was 25, 20, yeah,
25 and
20
starting an
something.
aviation company.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I had no cash. I had no money. So I said, Father, that's why I say my father always supported my crazy dreams. I said, Father, I want to buy an airplane. I said, you're crazy, son. I said, Father, it's true. I want to buy an airplane. So Junior had a Piper Arrow. He sold his Arrow, and my father borrowed me like some money to buy half of a Seneca Piper Seneca. So we bought our first aircraft 50-50,
Mm.
and we started selling shares. So we sold shares on the first plane, and we bought a second. It was not that easy. It was really hard.
Sure.
I was going to
but
say, yeah. So that's how did
but
that go? But yeah, hey,
the shared ownership market in Brazil was new, so no one was doing that. So we were pioneers on that. So that's what allowed us to grow so much, that market.
Mm.
And we started like branching to other aviation areas, management, FBOs, parts, sales. That happened over this past 12, 13 years.
Mm.
But it was really nice
so you took
experience.
one half of a Piper Seneca, turned it into a full blown 135 with multiple aircraft.
So until December, we had 6 FBOs in different cities, 50 plus planes under management, shared our 135, parts, aircraft sales, a lot of import and export between US and Brazil. It was really nice.
Were all the FBOs in Brazil as well?
All the southern regions, all in the southern Brazil.
Mm.
Wow,
Uh,
that's
And what was the name of that company again?
SyncJet.
SyncJet. Okay. So how long were you a part of SyncJet? Because I know you then transitioned, and there's another part to this story too, where you came up to the U.S. and started your current company,
Uh, SyncJet is turning 13 or 14 years now.
and they're still in operation, still down in Brazil.
Yes,
Yeah.
Junior is growing the company a lot.
Great.
They're doing great.
so your guy you originally started with. He's still in it. You just
Yeah,
got out or got yeah.
what happened is that 4 years ago, I've always had the dream to, one, move out of Brazil, and two, to move to the US. I really identify myself with the US culture, the way of doing business, the way everything works here. That I think I was born in the wrong place, and I have so much respect for this country and everyone here because you always say, oh, he's a foreigner. I've always felt welcome and by everyone I've met. I'm really grateful for that because I like here. I like being here. I like being able to contribute to the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 years ago, we started a parts company. It was called Plane Deals, mainly to provide to our managed fleet in Brazil. We were having issues finding parts or importing parts to Brazil. It took too long and was too expensive. So we need to fix that. Everything we did on SyncJet was every branch that we opened was to fix a problem that we had.
Yeah.
So parts was a big problem. We were discussing that. You still have
Yeah.
that today.
That's right. We were talking about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 years ago, we started Plane Deals. Sorry, Emily, I haven't talked about that. And I was operating this company remotely. So I bought from vendors, text from Boeing or other vendors, shipped to a freight forward in Miami, exported to Brazil to use our fleet, or to resell to repair station, or to use in our fleet. And this company, I'm grateful for it because it was the groundwork that allowed me to be here today. So 4 years ago, this company was growing a lot. We're growing super well, like doubling every year in size. And we're running a company remotely with no employees in the States. All we're doing was buying, shipping to a freight forward and exporting to Brazil.
Mm.
So I decided that I should move to the US to run this company in person. So I applied for my green card, got my green card approved, moved here, started running this company, and it was really good. We grew a lot. Lately, we brought this parts company under the SyncJet brand as Sync Parts, but it was a really good experience. So that what the parts business is what initially brought me here to the States. But after a couple years here, we had the opportunity to rent the first hangar in Kissimmee, and then the second hangar. We can stay away from airplanes, so we started doing management, and it's something I really like
Yeah.
to provide management because the owner has to focus on his business, and we know pretty well that running an airplane is not simple. It's not difficult, but
Right.
it's not simple. It requires a lot of thought and manpower and planning, and I like being the guy who does that, who provides this guidance or this support, this planning on operation, maintenance, and also on services.
Mm.
Like I like them being well treated, and I like people feeling in love by aviation.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot. You guys have seen that bad pilots ruin the client.
Mm.
Guys that get out of aviation because of bad service. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of what we do every day too. Is we're like a logistics company. Honestly, nobody goes into aircraft ownership because of all the things you have to do just to own the airplane, right? It's because they want to utilize the tool, but then a lot of times, like you said, they don't have this like understanding of how to maintain it properly. So if you can bring somebody in who can handle that part of it for you, um, that takes a huge burden off the owners.
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because a lot of them don't know. They just
Sure.
they treat it like their car.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that sell that they do that or they know how to do that and they don't.
Right.
And
So you started off as like a parts company
here in the US as a
here in the
parts
U.S.
company, then a hangar management,
Aircraft management.
then I bought a Baron 58 to do shared ownership.
Okay.
So when we started in Brazil, we started with the Seneca. So I thought it was a good idea to start with a small twin plane in the US, but
Sure.
I forgot this is a completely different market.
Okay.
So I sold the first 25% share. But what I heard a lot is the wives were afraid of flying on the Baron. Like,
Really?
Yeah,
it's
well,
too
yeah.
Why is
small
that?
plane,
Just a small plane.
noisy, small.
Yeah.
So I thought, I was trying to sell the shares. I said that this is not going to work. I mean, it's not going to scale. So we sold the Baron and we bought the Citation, the S2. And the Citation is a better plane. Of course, you can start. It's comfortable. It's fast.
Sure.
Then you can start providing a good service.
You could so you were able to start scaling that
Yeah.
up like you said and building that company.
Yeah. And then everything changed again, right?
Sure.
And your new company is Sky. Is that correct? What's
Huh?
your new company? What's your company here in the U.S.?
So back in December, I went to junior, and what happened is, after 4 years here in America, and seeing the way that the U.S. does business, the way that Brazil does business, I chose to be here to raise my kids here, to raise my family here, and I had my shared focus. So I had a big operation that I had to pay attention in Brazil. The junior was running, and I had a new operation that I need to grow in the U.S. So my heart was divided.
Sure.
I really wanted to focus 100% here, but I couldn't. We have a lot of employees and things are going on in Brazil. But after this 4 years here, I had to make a decision. I said, okay, or I release I need to change the chapter.
Yeah.
If I don't do that, I'll keep divided. And if you
You
don't
can't
put
give-
focus on something, you cannot make that grow. It was a really hard decision because I loved what we built in Brazil. And
That was your baby.
that was my baby.
Sure.
And I know how many years, how many hours I've put into running that.
But
those
this new
companies.
venture required 100% of your attention.
If I want to grow in the U.S. market, I need to be here.
Yeah.
I need to work a lot. So in December, I went to Brazil. We spoke. I bought Junior's part in the U.S. operation, and I sold my share in the Brazilian company to him.
Okay.
So we could. Junior doesn't want to live in the States. I don't want to go back to Brazil. So we agreed that it would be best for both of us if we each one followed his own path. And so I changed the company name in the States from SyncJet to Next Aviation.
Okay.
That's a brand it's a name that I love, and I have a special feeling for that name.
There's a story behind the name.
There's a story behind
Okay.
the name. And focus on management, shared ownership, and aircraft acquisitions. So I'm not an aircraft broker, but I like finding good airplanes to good clients.
Sure.
So that's something that I really like doing, like when people hire me to find a good deal, a good aircraft, and I can manage this plane for him.
So are you still doing 135 now with with the new with Next? Is it a 135 or just
No, it's
strictly
straight 91. Uh, and then was telling you, I think that was before we turned everything on.
Yeah, it was.
I'm gonna tell you about that.
So yeah, what's the difference in working with the ANAC versus the FAA? Or is there any? I'm assuming it's different.
ANAC copies FAA Part 135 regulation.
Okay.
So it's a copy and paste, translate, and make it worse. Basically, that, I have good friends at ANAC. I hope they don't get mad at me, but it's just a translation issue. ANAC, they have been through so many phases, but now they're getting really good to deal with. When we bought the 135 in Brazil, I had already moved to the States, so I haven't dealt with that day-to-day negotiation operation of a 135 operation. So I'll figure out how does it work with FAA now, but on the Brazilian side, I haven't dealt on the 135 regulation with them. Just Part 91, that's much simpler to deal with.
Okay.
So what we're talking about there is, so we had a parts department here in the States. I had a lot of consignment from Fly Alliance. And remember I told you about U.S. relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I was buying parts from a company called Fly Alliance. They have a 135 operation, 145 repair station, and they also buy airplanes and do teardowns. So they have huge stock. It's amazing. They're stocking in Ocoee, in Orlando. But they had this, I don't know, 40 huge boxes of Beechjet parts. That's not their main business. Their main business is Gulfstreams, Globals, and Hawker 800s, bigger planes. And our biggest market was Beechjets. We were operating, I think, 16 in Brazil, only at SyncJet. And we had over 100 planes in Brazil. And we were the experts on Beechjet. So if we could provide these parts to the Brazilian market, so we did an agreement with Kevin. We got all these Beechjet parts as consignment. We moved to our Kissimmee hangar and we started selling these parts. And that's where we started a relationship with Fly Alliance. And Kevin and Samantha, I so much grateful for them. They have been really good guys. And one of the things that I like most is they are transparent. So when I visit Fly Alliance, and you're never gonna see this in a Brazilian company, you have these huge dashboards and they're public in their office. How much are we selling? What is our margin? Who is our clients? You know, this kind of open, no, how can I say that? No,
Yeah, they kind of like pulled the curtain back a little bit and just let you see the whole business.
It's not about like it's all about relationships. It doesn't matter if you hide what you do or how you do. It's all about relationship. We know that.
Yeah.
So, and we start talking about 135. And I said I have a personal dream of starting a 135 operation. It's something that I've always wanted, and I couldn't fulfill that in Brazil because I moved here prior to that. And when they were showing me how much they fly, how much a 135 operation flies in the States, I was like, there's no way. I'll do some comparisons between the Brazilian and U.S. market now. Now let's compare two markets. How many aircrafts do you think there are in Brazil total? Airlines, jets, props, experimental aircrafts.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
10,000. I'll throw a number out there.
Yeah, it's a good guess. 10 to 12,000. Yeah, 11,000 is a good average.
Yeah.
How many planes you have in the States?
More than 10,000.
More than that, I'm assuming. Yeah, right. I feel like this is a leading question, but probably significantly more than that.
One number.
50,000.
Yeah. 230,000.
230,000.
Over 200,000. How you compare? And Brazil is the second biggest aviation market.
Yeah.
Brazil is number 2 aviation market in the world.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So number 1 is U.S. with 200,000 aircraft.
Sure.
Brazil is the second one with 10,000. So I was, when you were talking about Oshkosh. Oshkosh has like 13 to 15 aircrafts landed there in a week. Imagine that's the whole Brazilian aviation in one U.S. airport in 1 week. So the market size is it's it's a huge comparison. So we were receiving in Brazil, I would say 5 to 10 quote requests for charter.
Yeah.
And when I went to Fly Lines and they told me, oh, we get 1,500 a day.
1,500 requests a day.
We had 10 a month.
Wow.
I said, I came back to Junior and said, Junior, I think we're looking at the.
This is not going to work.
I
Yeah.
think we're
Not the
looking
way
at.
not the way that you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way bigger than that.
So Kevin was explaining. He has a lot of experience in the 135 market, so he was explaining me how it works. He told me about the shift in the how U.S. switched from the point-to-point charter
Hmm.
to the floating fleet market.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so interesting because nothing in the U.S. is small. Like you always make it big.
Sure.
So I that's something that I was really interested with. So going back,
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think it's so much bigger here in the U.S. compared to Brazil? We'll just talk Brazil and U.S., right? Like, what is it about operations in the United States that makes a demand out there for, like, this company would get 1,500 requests for, a flight a day?
a few more differences about U.S. flying the U.S. and flying Brazil. Of course, you have the taxes in Brazil that it's overwhelming.
Mm.
So when you import an aircraft, we're paying 15 to 20% in duties. Uh, that's a lot. Remember, our money, Brazilian money, is 5 times less than it's everything times five.
Mm.
So $1,000, 5,000 reais.
Mm.
So the money doesn't. The value of the money is much lower than the U.S. dollar. So when you're operating an aircraft in Brazil, your costs are so much higher because every time you land, you have a landing fee. It's huge compared to the U.S. where most of the airports now they're starting, but most of the airports you don't have landing fees because that's backed by the federal government.
Mm.
They invest in airports because they know how much business and aviation brings. And you don't have that mindset in Brazilian politics.
Mm.
It's all about cost and using the space. So you have this huge operational cost on extremely expensive fuel, landing fees, labor. Here we can on a pilot or any employees on a company, the number you run is your salary plus 15 to 30% with benefits. That's what someone costs to a company here in the States. My number in Brazil was salary plus 55%. So it all adds up, and you don't have the infrastructure. So uh, everything is so far away in Brazil.
Mm.
You don't have the infrastructure that should be needed for a country the size of Brazil. It on a comparison, like let's say on the beachhead, my cost here in the States is about $1,815 to $1,800 an hour. Cost, direct costs. To fly the same beachhead in Brazil would cost me around 20,000 reais. That would be around $4,000.
Mm.
That's almost a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, but that's not a straight comparison. The comparison is what's the minimum wage in the States? About $2,000, a livable minimum wage. The minimum wage in Brazil is 1,000 reais. So here it's like one salary a month to fly. There 1 hour. There is almost 20. So that's the cost difference between operating a plane in Brazil and U.S. It costs 20 times more.
So with that
Wow.
cost difference, I'd be curious with you being there in your background, obviously. So, in the U.S., I don't know the ratio, but a lot of people and places use their aircraft as business tools. What's the usage in Brazil like? Is it mostly high net worth individuals, or is it a good mix of business aircraft down there as far as like companies use them to perform day to day operations, or what's the mix there?
Business
What's your insight on
aviation.
that?
Business is the most common usage. Always.
Yeah.
We know how much aircraft can bring. You can buy time. That's the only thing that you can buy, time.
Right.
Yeah.
So all our clients in SyncJet, over 100 clients, they're all business. We, of course, they mix personal use and
Well, yeah,
business
for
use,
sure.
but mostly are business use.
And what do like flight operations look like? Is it all like within the country, or are you flying, a lot of international? What are you seeing?
We're flying a lot. The smaller planes were flying a lot in South America, but we had the biggest plane we had on our fleet were two Hawker 4000s, and they did a lot of international flights.
Yeah.
So every month, U.S. or Europe, but that was the biggest plane we had in our fleet.
Mm-hmm. So moving into your current company, Next Aviation. Okay, so how long have you had Next Aviation?
Next Aviation is the legal name of the SyncJet in the U.S. was Next Aviation
Okay.
since we started 7 years ago, and SyncJet was just a DBA over Next. So what happened is then I sold Brazilian operation to Junior, bought the U.S. operation back in December, and then February maybe I went to return the consignment stock that I had from Fly Alliance. That was February or March, and talking with Kevin Wargo, and I was telling you that story. So we were having lunch and discussing my future, what I was gonna do next, and I said I was gonna need to return the parts, and I had my personal dream of starting a 135 operation, and then he asked me, "Do you really want a 135?" I said, "Yeah, sure, why not? That's my dream." So he got his phone. And this really happened at a Mexican restaurant
Just
in
called
downtown
somebody up?
Winter Garden.
Yeah.
So he called someone. "Hey, do you have a 135 for sale?" "Oh yeah, I do. Send me the contract." And I was like sitting in front of him. So
That was easy.
I said, "Okay, now you have a 135.
No.
Go work.
How long
We're
ago?
partners."
How long ago was that?
He said
A month ago.
February, March this
So
year.
this just happened.
This just happened.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's a lot going on.
So hold on for 1 second. Did you go home from lunch and tell the wife, "Hey, I just bought a 135 company"?
Well, my wife, I wish she has so much fun with me. I'm a business. I'm an entrepreneur. I love
Yeah.
doing business. So she thinks I'm crazy. So I have so many business ideas. Every week I come with something
Yeah.
new.
So that was just like
Yep.
normal for
Yep.
her. Yeah. It's
She says,
just,
"Hey, I think I bought
Okay.
a charter operation." She
A
said,
whole charter company.
"Yeah."
It's not like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
right.
I picked up a new car today." It's
I don't
just
think
happened to
she
buy.
knows what that means.
Okay.
She doesn't know how much
Hey,
I have to work
she
to
does
make.
now.
Hopefully she's not watching this, right? So
But I always come up with business ideas, and she supports me.
Now she's going to ask you, like, "Why are those other two guys' eyes real big when you said you bought a 135?" She's going to know now.
Not even myself. I think I don't.
You don't know.
I don't know
Well,
that
you said
yet.
earlier you don't
Yeah.
know what you don't know, right?
But I mean, Kevin, why it's not something that I would do by myself at this moment.
Yeah.
But when Kevin brought this opportunity, it's someone that has decades of experience in the charter market. It's not his first company. He did a great job with Fly Alliance. They have a great team. They have the knowledge on the U.S. market, and with them, I feel safe if they done that. And remember, they have two
Yeah.
decades of experience.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2 decades of experience, and we're bringing all this knowledge
Sure.
to a new company, so we can starting from scratch. We can correct all the errors we both did, and we're still doing in our company.
Well, and it's kind of like in alignment with what your whole story is. Like, you started with like a passion somewhere, you got into it, you figured it out. And then you moved that and you scaled that company into, the parts company. Then you came to the US, you kind of saw like, whoa, this is way different. And you're figuring it out again. And so it's just that, like you said, that entrepreneurial spirit where, nobody knows everything about everything. But you get into it and then you learn from your mistakes a lot of the times, and then you move forward and you get bigger and you grow and you just keep pushing.
What I want with this new company is 2 things: great people on my side and having fun.
Yeah.
If I can do this, be light, how, just feel good. I don't want to get overstressed like I was in the first 6 years of SyncJet, working 18 hours a day. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to enjoy my family. I want to do good business with good people.
Yeah,
I want to have great
I
clients that
agree.
respect me. I respect them, and we grow together. That's what I want. And I want a team. Like you met some of the guys. I want this team to be able to have a great life
Yeah.
and to grow with the company and enjoy their family. Like you said, I'm a family guy. I want everyone to be able to enjoy their families
That's good.
and
I tell you, that's something that people don't understand always is that you've got to take care of other people. You know, if you're going to be in business, if you're going to grow something that's worth having, you've got to take care of the people around you,
yeah,
and that's true for I think any business, aviation, what trucking, whatever
anything.
you're into. You know, you cannot overlook the value of the people around you that are actually making the day to day stuff happen. Right? You got to take care of them.
It, it's not me. It's not my company. It's our company.
It's a
It
great way to
provides
look
for
at it.
Oh yeah.
my family. It provides for their family.
Yeah.
So it's not about me. It's about us. So if the company does well, we all do well. We, I
So
really want to bring really, and I've been able to, especially at this beginning, have some really good people on my side.
Yeah.
And of course, as always, every business when it grows, it's harder to maintain these good people. But I learned a lot in
You
my
know what I
past
love,
decade.
and this is what I love about your story is you're not. I mean, you're a young guy. You're obviously a successful business person. You're doing big things, but you're not coming into it with this. I just want this easy, company that I can run and make money, and if bring some people. Like you said earlier, you had those 18-hour days. You had that stress of managing a company, and then you decided you wanted something differently for you and your family and your employees and their families, right? So you want to build this company that's great for everybody around you. And to me, that's the beginning of every great success story.
oh yeah.
I I won't say I came from nothing. I had a good family that supported me, but growing a company from scratch is not easy. You need to put a
Yeah,
lot of effort, especially in Brazil because it's a super difficult market to grow. Even Walmart left Brazil, so it's
okay,
it's super
that
hard
says
market
something.
to.
Yeah,
And so I had to do that. I
yeah.
had to put my health, my time, everything to make it scale. And then you start balancing. Does it worth? You know,
Mm-hmm.
all the health that you gave your time and your health.
Sure.
And like I said, I learned a lot in the past decade that I want to apply this to my new
I
ventures.
think that's the important part about it is you keep learning, right? You just everything that we do, even like our interactions with people
Oh
and
yeah.
our business and the MRO side of the world is you have to keep learning and keeping your eyes like focused forward on what's coming, what are going to be the needs of our potential customers 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years from now, right? And start going that direction. The proactive versus being reactive. We talk about that a lot.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You have to be proactive in business and certainly in the US.
Yeah.
Your 135 that you got, did it already, was it just a certificate, or did it come with airplanes and all, or are you having to start back from ground zero, so to speak,
So
like you did with your first company?
so what happened then after we had this conversation is Fly Alliance bought a few beach jets. They, as a business for them, they tear some down or they sell the airplanes. So Kevin gave me two airplanes as a broker, exclusive broker.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a good friend from Brazil that he wanted to buy a Gulfstream. So we were talking about 135 operation, and he came here. He loved the U.S. market. He has airplanes in Brazil, so he bought his first two beach jets and is leasing back to the 135. I have a managed client in Orlando that has another beach jet. He would be our first aircraft, lease back aircraft. And so we're starting with these three aircrafts. We have conformity in a few days and then proving runs. So I would say realistic please FAA help me
Yeah, well,
about the
we're gonna have to check back in with you on that.
30 to 60 days we want to be running. And then I saw the citation and I bought part of those two beachheads, so I could own the planes and also operate in on 135. And I have a lot of clients that want to invest or buy companies and add to our charter company, but I want to start fix the things that we need to fix at the beginning before scaling the business.
So where do you see Next
Yeah,
Aviation
that's what I
in
was going to ask too.
5 years, 10 years from now?
So the charter company is Sky Travel Solutions.
Okay,
So
Sky Travel.
I'm keeping Next Aviation as my company. I have management clients and I do the aircraft sales through Next. But our operation is shifting to Sky Travel.
Okay,
Sky Travel is the 135.
so Sky Travel, where are they going to be in 5 years?
I think the first year we'll learn a lot. We'll do a lot of mistakes and we'll learn a lot.
Yeah,
And
hopefully.
but in 5 years, I can guarantee I'll be one of the biggest operators in the U.S.
Really?
Really.
Well, we're going to hold you to that.
Uh,
What?
we're gonna sit here in 5 years and say,
Yeah.
remember when we talk about that? Yeah,
I hope so, man. I can't wait to see it.
yeah, I have plans on what we could do, what kind of airplanes we want to fly, and I know where we're gonna get.
Yeah.
But I know that it also takes a lot of adjustments in the beginning, and I'm bringing really good people to the team that has the growth mindset, the healthy growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also using a lot of technology, a lot of AI, so to help us.
That's interesting. Yeah. So technology now, starting this company 25 years ago would have looked completely different, right?
Oh,
Obviously. Yeah, with the advances in technology and AI and everything that we have. Tell me how you're using AI, just because I'm curious about this. And every time it comes up on the show, I always want to ask people, how do you use AI to help you in your business?
there are two instances. So I've always wanted, for example, a nice client portal where a managed client could access his aircraft information, and you have these options on the market, these software options, but they always miss something. You never.
Yeah.
And I said, it's so hard to get the things out of my head. I mean, what I want or what I see, bring it to life.
Mm.
I've hired marketing agencies, programmers, software companies to try to do that in the past 10 years. I've never made it.
Mm.
And with AI at Sky Travel in 10, 15 days, I was able to create exactly what I had in my mind and bring it to life.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Imagine that. I did in 10 days I couldn't do in 10 years. And this is just the first step of uh, there's a name for that. AI programming, I don't remember. But of course, we need to validate and do security checks on that. But that's just the first step. The second step is bringing all these AI agents, not to replace, but to help our team.
To compliment, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want AI replacing anyone, but I want to be able to develop an AI agent that can plug into our maintenance management, so can do more predictive. What part's gonna fail? How long does it fail? It's all data, data or data.
Data.
Data. It's all data.
Yeah.
So AI can read this data much better than we can, and much faster.
Mm.
So if we can use AI to bring intelligence on the sales side, on the maintenance side, on the planning side, and on the sales side, it's just to be able to do more, faster, with less labor,
Yeah.
less stress.
Actually, he's all you just said. He's being proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah,
He's just using a tool to help collect that data and tell him how to be proactive.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is how I see AI contributing the most to aviation, because I think largely this business, you cannot replace
No,
people.
you can't.
I mean, like you said at the very beginning of the conversation, right? This is a relationship business. But having the AI agents and the people who are trained to be able to like leverage AI in a way that's going to benefit. That right there is a good shift, I think, into how that's going to help our business the most.
You both know that when you're inside the operation and things are happening all day, all the time, you miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
And what AI helps is looking at these things you miss, seeing the patterns, seeing the and helping you optimize that.
Mm.
I think that's the sweet spot. Like looking at the numbers, looking at the results, looking at profitability or the maintenance side, what is going on, and you can understand these patterns and then predict them and then make adjustments on your operation.
Yeah. So 10 years from now, you're going to be the largest operation in the U.S.
Well, you said 5.
5 years from now.
Yeah.
I'd say
I
I'll
was
be
going to give
big,
you.
but
I was going to give you 10,
but I mean, Warren Buffett's pretty hard
yeah,
to beat.
that's a big one. Yeah, you're going after a big fish there.
Yeah.
No, I think it's good. You have to be ambitious. You know, you have to have dreams and go after them, shoot high, all that.
My dream is not being the biggest, but it's being able to be a really good company that
Yeah.
our clients and our staff values a lot. Like if I can have clients that trust us, it could be 100 clients or 1,000 clients or 10,000 clients. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if I can have a good relationship with them and we benefit them and somehow we help them grow or help them have time and spend time with their family, that's my objective.
Yeah.
So down the road, obviously, you've already built one company, very successful, great success story actually.
Mm.
You're starting another one. So what's in your pipeline? So after you get Next Aviation and all up and running and it's super successful, what's next? What's Pedro thinking the next thing is? Or is that going to be it? Or you got more aspirations for something even more? Or?
Um,
'Cause you seem to be very driven and determined to get what you want, which is admirable.
this is another of those personal dreams, something we discussed and something I love. I think the future of local transportation is on eVTOLs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's going to change everything.
Yeah.
I
I
hate
agree.
driving from my home to the airport. It takes 35 to 45 minutes in Orlando to go anywhere. If I could just hop on a drone and fly that in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, of
How
course,
how far out do you think we are from that realistically? Being like a normal part of travel.
I
Commuting.
think I'll answer. Sorry, but I think
Yeah, how
the
far out?
the vehicle's there. It's just a matter of the
We've
FAA
seen them.
and the public accepting it and adapting to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a good friend who's they use drones already for delivering stuff.
Yeah, of course. Well, and you know, to me, it's like it seems like you have to apply it to a normal, like day to day thing for people to be able to accept it, right? So I would think we would have like automated self driving semi trucks on the highway,
Which we do.
which we do, and we've seen some of those out there. But you know, when we all travel a lot, we've seen the Ubers. You know, what do they call them in Phoenix?
Waymo.
Waymos.
Waymos.
Yeah, Waymos.
Yeah, so we've seen those driving around. So I think that's like us getting like the familiarization with it. And you can't just jump right straight into aviation because honestly, aviation has a lot, especially when it comes to commercial aviation, has a lot of like hot points, you know, where people just they almost don't feel comfortable sometimes flying on a plane with an experienced pilot who's been doing it for 25 years.
A young pilot.
Now we want to throw them in a plane that doesn't have a pilot at all, right? People just can't wrap their heads around that.
I was talking to a friend of mine. He was an engineer for Embraer. He worked on Embraer VTOLs project, and we were discussing that. I mean, there are a lot of, not a lot of, I would say 5 to 8 companies around the U.S. doing really good projects for eVTOLs. And then I was talking on the pilot side with an engineer guy. I said, okay, what happens if this engine fail?
Yeah.
What happens if this engine fail? What happens if 3 of these engines fail? What is the possibility rate of these fails? And now I think it's going to be a lot of moving to the reliability and confidence on the operation.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too.
And it's going to be a transition. Like for mainly, it's going to be like a hop between MCO and Disney,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, with pilots flying
Yeah.
those corridors, and then we'll start developing all the legislation to provide maybe uh, self-flying autonomous corridor for eVTOLs, and it's something that we're gonna expand. Like, I don't think it's gonna be fast. To
Yeah.
be realistic, to be flying like between, but things are going so fast lately. I would say normally 10 years, but it might happen in 5 because everything is speeding
Sure.
up. But
But
to
even 10 years is pretty quick.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
but I would say 10 to 20 years to be operational.
I think, yeah, I totally think I'll see it in my lifetime. That's kind of how I put it. I think I will see that. Um, and I think it's that familiarization, like you talked about, where there's got to be like a generational shift a little bit for people to kind of adapt new concept. Like we talked about AI. A lot of people who are like my age or older have a lot of reservations with AI. We see like this is going to be, we don't understand it. We don't know how to use it fully. However, my 10-year-old daughter will live her whole life with AI.
Oh yeah.
So that generational, like moving into the comfort zone with something new, I think that kind of has to happen too. And if in the next 10 years we start getting these eVTOL aircraft out there and we start to see them go, transporting people around like, just commuter style, my kids will grow up and your kids will grow up with that just being normal.
Everyday life.
Hmm.
And then their kids will never remember a time where that's not how we traveled. And then we'll talk about, getting an Uber with my smartphone, and they'll think like, why on earth would you have to use a phone to take a car somewhere? We'll just
Just ask.
fly there. Can't we just fly there? Fly to the mall or something.
Well, yeah.
It's wild to think about, but you're right. Things are moving fast.
It's so crazy. I mean, what happened to AI in 1 year? Remember AI 1 year ago or 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah, it's been flying.
It's so
So,
crazy,
yeah, so fast. So,
and that worries me a little bit.
does it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, I think technology is evolving quicker than
we can
we can wrap
control,
our head
Yeah.
around. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I really like Elon. Elon Musk has a really good, nice line of thought on that. I like his ideas and the way he.
What I like about guys like Elon and I'll even just say like what we've talked about in this room is the people who change things in a big way are the ones who are thinking, people consider them just nuts. Like when they throw an idea out there on the table, like this is what I think we should do. Like that is crazy talk. We need those people in the
Yeah,
world. We need those people who can think so far ahead that it scares the
out
normal
of the
person.
box.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs and Elon Musk of our generation.
Right, the
Yeah.
greats, right? And we'll continue to have those people, and that's why I get excited when I, talk to young, that like stay curious. You've got young daughters. I've got young daughters right now at home, and they say things that's like, you want to say that's impossible. There's no way that you can't tie enough balloons to the dog and see if we can get it to fly. And I mean, physically, I guess you could, but I love the fact that they think like that,
Well, yeah.
and in our business, aviation, and people like yourself, who have these huge dreams, we need that, man. Like, we need people who are looking so far ahead that the rest of us are like, I don't know how you're going to do that, but I can't wait to watch you do it. So,
I have no idea how I'm gonna do that, but I
yeah.
will.
Yeah. Well, keep us posted on that, man. I think
Well, we're getting toward the end.
yeah, we are.
I wanna ask the one question. I think this may be the one that you've coined, but
Just the big one.
rolling back to young Pedro at 14, what would you have told yourself from now? Back then, you're
Yeah.
talking to yourself at 14. What would you have? What would you tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself as from where you were and where you've came to?
I've, the thing that I miss more growing up, and that's something that I try to develop on my daughters a lot. I've always been an operational guy. I like airplanes, machines, but if you want to change the world, you need to know people. I've never had training or instruction or learning on relationships, on training, on developing people, and that's something that I miss a lot. Communication skills. I have terrible communication skills, and I would like to improve that a lot. And I try really hard to. I read, I study to try to improve myself, but old dogs are hard to learn their tricks. But
It's pretty close.
Yeah. Correct me. Put the
Yeah.
subtitles and
No, we got it.
Nice,
It translated.
Awesome story. I mean, to go from
Yeah.
a young boy at 14 to building a company and branching out, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
and the crazy thing, I was talking to my wife, and then I look at the mirror, and I'm getting old, man.
No, you got lots of time.
No, and then like I'm 38, so I started flying at 14. That's 24 years ago. It's been 24 years, and I feel like it was like 5.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The time flies.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you just said that right there, and I think it's the perfect way to end this podcast. But it's right. You're right. Communication, learning how to live in a world with other people and work with them and to support each other and do things. I think you're doing it exactly right. There's not an app that you can download on your phone. There's not a piece of software you can buy. I'm pretty sure if you actually went into ChatGPT and said, how do I get better
It'd tell you.
at talking to people, it's going to tell you, well, you need to get out and talk to more people.
I've tried.
And there you go. A machine telling you that you need real human interaction and to be with people. And for that reason, I think our business is forever safe and forever will be a person-to-person
Yeah.
connection business.
Remember, all these planes, they're all handmade. All this knowledge, it's something that you cannot replicate. It's taught one generation to the other. And remember, we cannot build a Saturn V again. It's not something that we've tried, but we lost the knowledge. And it's so personal and so relationship aviation. I don't think anything will change that.
It can't.
Not AI, not technology,
No.
nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's such a small market. Everyone knows each other, and it's so much self-learning. We learn from experience. From you had a 145. I'm pretty sure you had an airplane with a squawk that. How do I solve this? And you call another mechanic that you know from another state and say, "Hey, help me." It's all based on this knowledge. And and these are all handmade. There's no recipe for airplanes.
That's right. That's right. Well,
No, thank you for joining us, sharing your story. It's actually incredible. It's inspiring. So well done.
It is
keep
inspiring.
Keep pushing forward, my friend.
how can people find you, Pedro? Is it like if they hear this story, if they want to connect with you, what's the best way to connect with you?
Okay, if you can please share the Next Aviation website. It's next.aero,
Okay.
AERO, and SkyTravel, our new 135 operations, is skytravel.aero.
Yeah, and we'll put all those down in the links below for the podcast too, so people can come and find you.
Thank you very much
Of
for
course.
trusting me and inviting me. It was really good conversation.
It was great having you.
It was my first time, so
You're-
I'm
And your team of people that showed up with you was not expecting that when you got off the citation this morning. There was a whole group of people with you, so it was good to get to meet everybody. Yeah, you're always welcome here in South Carolina. Thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you.
Why
Thank
don't
you both.
Wrap up. How
Yeah,
people can
well,
find us.
and people can find us too on Two Plane Guys at Two Plane Guys, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. Yeah, find us on Apple Music. Listen to Pedro's story, man. Again, it was great having you.
Subscribe to us and check us out. So I think we're done, man.
Yeah,
Thank you,
another
guys.
one.
Another one in the books. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
everybody
ladies.
joining us, and catch us on the next go.
That's it.
We're
Thanks,
out.
man.
Thanks.